answers in first place. In the top right-hand side, game one of this best of three. The red Terran player, the 16-year-old, the first 16-year-old, is Clem. The other 16-year-old in the bottom left-hand side is the blue Protoss goblin. How about that, eh? Let's get the setup and rolling, guys. Game number one here today. Again, this is our final series of the day. The winner of this advances in first. DNS Soul, the winner does not matter, doesn't make a difference in the end. So we can we don't cast that one. It's been a long day. We've been live for about 5 hours now. Didn't Wardy and Base Trade have some beef recently? Nice to see them getting along now. We don't get along. Honestly, I think Rifkin is just the worst caster StarCraft 2's ever seen. You know, once he actually introduced the players in the first minute of the game. Everybody knows that if you want to be a professional StarCraft 2 caster... Sorry, if you want to be a professional StarCraft 2 community caster, you don't introduce the players for at least 3 minutes. And if someone mentions pineapple on pizza, then it's at least 8 minutes until you get to the StarCraft, so... You know, he's got a lot to learn, but, you know, we'll give him some time. It must be tough with so much pressure on his shoulders to constantly improve, to, you know, deal with the threat of WardiTV. My take on Wardy. Oh, I've seen this one. I mean, it doesn't matter what you say, Riff. The reality is I have about 80 Riff blushes on my tree, which is everything I need in my life, so... Rebecca comes in and grabs itself a probe in the early stages. As you see, Command Center dropping down on the natural. Dept is going to come through and just try and apply a little bit of pressure. Why not just build it in the main? Build what in the main, Nomis? You mean the Command Center? I'm going to assume you mean the Command Center because I don't know what else you could mean, but if you build the Command Center in your main, you lose a lot of time floating it down to the low ground, so the Command Center is always better off built on the low ground, because as much as it was delayed here, it still would have been delayed more if it built on the high ground, lifted, floated down, landed, and all the rest of it, so it's always better to get on the low ground pretty much 9 times out of 10, unless your opponent really has a lot of pressure. I mean, a probe shouldn't apply that much pressure, so... How did Goblin 2 or DNS? He just won. Cloak Banshee opening here from Clem to get this underway. Phoenix on the way out from Goblin, so he's once again going into this kind of Phoenix heavy opening off the Stargate. I mean, he's going to come in, he's going to immediately scout the fact that this is Cloak Banshee. Marine's coming over and that Phoenix is in a little bit of trouble, has to be a little bit careful. And Phoenix lost a little bit of the shields here. Oh, Widow Mine is going to have to be dodged here a little bit. Man, this Widow Mine's a little bit unlucky. Like, I really feel like the Phoenix have been so close to her a couple of times, they've just kept turning away from it. Or stopping just before it. It's crazy. Robo Facility finishes up, as you see. Oh, there you go. Phoenix goes down, but it regained its shields. And a full health Phoenix doesn't get killed by a Widow Mine, so now the Phoenix can actually head over there and get this Widow Mine picked up and killed. So there we go. Widow Mine gets taken down, as we do see the Marines picking off set of rocks on the low ground. Banshee is on the way up. Rover dropping in towards the main, as you see an observer just heading in towards the upper right hand side. Again, just This Phoenix opener just gives so much potential to Goblin. Just always see what's coming in. Boom, picks off the 2 SCVs, coming in with this little bit of a marine tank push. Obviously, the Phoenix can lift the tanks as well. Forge and a Robo-Bay dropping down too. Immortal is about to finish up also. And there's Phoenix coming down to the south, and well, here come the Marines and the tanks. The Phoenix still just sat off to the side, and another couple of Marines coming over too. Some SCVs also coming up. Goblin going to start pushing down. He's going to get ready to try and fight this straight away. Here come the tanks lifted up. But one of the Phoenix already targeted down. He's going to target down another Phoenix. So the tank gets back down. But the tanks aren't even finished sieging. So when they got dropped back down, they continued to siege. Wow, what a shutdown by Goblin. Clem's attack does absolutely nothing here. Meanwhile, a Banshee over in the main, well, the natural isn't going to do much. Neither is it going to do much in the main because these shield batteries are up. Recalls the Observer back home, I think. So, I mean, even still, wouldn't have done much because there's literally just a shield battery here and only one Banshee. Not going to find any damage. Goblin is, well, in a good little spot, isn't he? He's defended this attack. This Banshee's not really going to do much either. I mean, getting a little bit of damage done here. As you see, a couple of probes just mining away on the third base. Getting going. Stimpak, combat shields on the way up. +1 attack coming in as well. A few extra gates dropping down, and just going to be seeing these Phoenix from Goblin heading in towards the upper right-hand side of the map. Banshee going to come across to the far right, and well, there's going to be 2 Banshees together now, which is a little bit more hopeful in terms of actually getting some damage done for Clem. Goblin going to head up in towards the main, and going to lift up a couple of these SCVs here and there. A few SCVs going down. I mean, this is quite nice. A few Marines too. Again, these Phoenix just finding damages. Units out of position. Wouldn't it be nice just to have a missile turret here to help cover kind of like the production or so, you know? Try to cancel. About to finish back at home. Goblin keeps up with his tech choices. He's still making Phoenix, so, well, we saw him earlier in the PvT. Deciding to just go into Colossus and stop making Phoenix. And he's making a lot more Phoenix now and really going to use those to support the Colossus, which he's got on the way up. Banshees flying through, going to find themselves 4 workers, 5 workers right away, make that 6. Now these Banshees hopping up in towards the main, where they'll also be able to find a few more probes as well. 9 workers down in total here. Good aggression so far, but of course the Banshees get taken down by the Phoenix and the Observers. I mean, finally the Banshees get something done though. 3 Banshees in the end get 9 workers plus a couple more. I wouldn't actually say it was that bad a commitment from Clem. It just took a little while for him to finally deal that damage. Now he sits ahead in the work count by quite a margin as well, with the triple mule. And we saw this earlier as well from Goblin against Soul. He was behind in workers against Soul, but he still made it happen because Soul got a little bit too aggressive when really he just needed to sit back. See if Clem makes the same mistake or if he's going to be a bit more able to realize what's going on there. Phoenix off the right side. A few Marines stim forwards and tagging one of those Phoenix there, bringing them a little bit lower. 4 more Vikings on the way up. As Phoenix actually fly into the Widow Mines. We've seen them, so they lift them up right away. That was for a moment. I was like, oh, the shots are going to go off, but no, not the case. Goes Academy. Dropping down in the main base, and the Marines is going to be getting picked off there. Colossus on the way out as well, and again, everything just gathering up for Goblin. Phoenix coming all the way back up to the top as we do see Goblin with a bit of a large push out now, out through the center of the map. I'm going to try and make this fight happen. Clem, Signal Marine going to stim through the top side. Zealot, Stalkers, Colossus, Sentries, everything getting ready to push forwards here. So, Clem, I mean, he did a good job of harassing, going to work a lead, but does that matter? Does he have an answer to the Colossus Phoenix? Well, he has Vikings, but they kind of need to go and probably target down the Colossus. I mean, the Phoenix are nice to kill. Colossus now taking some damage, but I think it's just taking a little too long here The bio taking some heavy hits, and Goblin is going to clean this up. The Colossus do fall, but there's Phoenix left over, and it's always tough to know what you should do as Clem just taps out. Goblin takes game number 1 of this best of 3, and he is blue shift for map number 2. We start to the bottom left-hand side. Up a game, a blue Protoss player. There's Goblin to the top right-hand side. The red Terran is Clem. Clem is going to open with a little bit of a proxy here. SCV goes right across the map. Meanwhile, this Goblin probe comes across pretty quickly, and he's already going to be scanning around to try and see if there is indeed a barracks on this side of the map, or if it is indeed proxied. So, Goblin trying to figure that out already. Probe does actually find this barracks moving up here, so Goblin finds it, but not in time like he did against Soul to kind of stop the SCV from building it, but might be able to stop the SCV from building a factory, if that was Clem's initial plan as well. Bunker dropping down from Clem. Nexus coming in on the natural, and we do see this probe of Goblin moving across to try and see what's up. It comes over, and probe will start to take quite a few hits, so we'll go down. SCV is still up here in the bunker. Might get a chance to finish. The Zealot, he needs to drop a grenade or something. SCV needs to run away. Run, SCV, run, SCV, run. Oh my god. I mean, eventually the Zealot dies, but there's an Adept on the way up. This is kind of crazy. A Marine on the way over as well to help out. SCV makes it back around. Adept should just be able to get the kill here, though, right? Yeah, okay. So after all said and done, the Adept stops the bunker anyways. The Marine will also die off. The Reaper goes into the main base and will be able to pick up another probe. It's its third kill of the game. 2 workers and a Zealot. What's up, Alferian? Thank you so much for the 4-month resub. How are you doing? Give some love in the chat for Alferian, please, people. Thank you so much for subscribing for 4 months in a row. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's see some Wardy hearts in the chat, peeps. I'll get you a decoration for the tree as well. Very excited about the tree today. I don't know, I'm just feeling very Christmassy. We've not had a lot of decorations go up, but the few that we have been really good, so I'm excited. Anyways, Marine comes back home, and this Reaper is still moving around. Has actually gone up to an extra probe kill here. Reaper is going to get taken down, though, so Reaper falls. Stargate being chrono boosted, so Phoenix on the way out to help against that Cyclone play, which Clem is beginning to set up into. Magfield Accelerator getting started. First Cyclone coming through. Rax will come over and land. Just to see what Goblin can do with it. I mean, we've seen the Phoenix all day long in the PvT be a pretty successful way of dealing with these Cyclones. See if it's more of the same, or if Clem can also maybe find a way to make this work against the Phoenix too. Cyclone's locking onto the Phoenix, pushing it away. That's actually nearly a kill there. Just misses out on the opportunity, but Goblin getting some good scouting there, then obviously flies all the way through the main to see everything. Medevac loads up both Cyclones and will start to come out onto the map, so we'll start moving forwards. Robox facility going to be finishing up in a moment from Goblin, and again, so far, so good. You see those Depths Stalker gathering up together, and an Immortal on the way out now as well in the Robo facility. What does Macfield Accelerator do? Increases the damage of the Cyclone lock-on attack against armored units to a huge amount. So it just increases the damage done by the Cyclones. It's very good against in TVT, it's very good in TvP. It's actually very good in all the matchups, actually. In TVT, you obviously have to play like Hellbat Cyclone, but in TvP and TVT, it's just a very solid opener. It just does so well against the majority of units. Locking on here, we do see the Phoenix pushed away. Liberate on the way out, Robobay dropping down. Goblin going to try and play the same style, where he's going to go in towards that Colossus Phoenix composition. And Cyclones in the center. Just moving through, as they have Phoenix around the top side as well. Again, Marines attack, Medevac, all of this coming into the middle. A lot of SCVs as well. Phoenix are coming in. Looking at the Liberator, and again, here we go. Lock-on comes down, Observer gets picked up. And Marines. These SCVs too. This is going to turn into an interesting little fight here. The Phoenix start lifting up the Cyclones. Liberator will siege up though. Marines targeting down the Phoenix and the tank. I mean, the issue is the fear. Marines are still surviving in pretty high numbers. Now the Phoenix, there's only one of them left with energy. And with a second tank showing up as well, Clem has quite a lot to maybe make this push work out. Goblin is going to be a little bit stuck towards that ramp as the lock-on comes through. The Immortal will get taken down there. I mean, the Phoenix come in to lift the tanks, but again, there's just so many Marines left that they can target down the Phoenix so quickly. Clem ties the series up 1-1. Guys, our final game of the day, Goblin versus Clem. It's going to be very interesting to kick things off. I was just getting a drink, and I got the game started because the other cast is like, go, go, go. So I'm like, okay, I'm going, just let me have a drink. And then all of a sudden, there's a freaking gateway across the map, and there's a freaking barracks across the map, and aye. Engineering Bay block on the natural. Obviously, Clem doesn't know yet that there is also a proxied gateway, so it's going to get into a very interesting little situation between the two of them on Port Alexander for the final game. I mean, there's a gateway down here as well for Goblins, so he does have a way to get units up against this proxy. So he should have something of an ancillary. But the big thing, I think, is the fact that Clem has no way to wall off, and so Goblins units will just be able to come in and poke away at SCVs, but it will be very micro-heavy. Grenade goes down, popping those probes around. The Reaper gets caught by probes. 2 probes killed as Reaper number 2 will start to come forwards. Stalker just going to poke on the supply depots. Not confident enough to go forward and go for SCVs. Maybe now with the Zealot. SCVs start to pull against this. SCVs are looking to go for the Stalker. It allows the Zealot to get a couple of kills there. Now surround on the Zealot does come down. A lot of these SCVs very low already. SCVs trying to mass repair each other up. Stalker gets up to 5 kills, 6 kills here. Reaper comes back home. The SCVs still try and catch the Stalker, and it will get surrounded, so Stalker will fall. And the SCVs will start to pull away, but not before one more goes down. A lot of lost mining time here, while across the map, obviously, well, Clem is not able to do too much more as this Reaper continues to nibble its way through the pylon. Barracks lifts up and starts to go home. And as we do see, the factory is done, and the Magfield Accelerator and the Cyclone is on the way. Robo facility from Goblin drops down in the main base, so getting the Robo facility here is obviously a pretty regular choice. I mean, when you know your opponent's on one base aggression, a Robo's a very safe way to play it out. The other option is probably Stargate Phoenix, but I'm happy that we see a bit of a switch up here from Goblin rather than sticking to the same style. Doesn't lock onto the pylon here, waits to keep the lock on until a Stalker is up the ramp. Barracks now back at home will help to produce units to defend, and Goblin will be the one really applying some pressure at the moment. As the Cyclone locks on again, Adept is pushed away. Reaper Grenade blops some Stalkers backwards. SCV goes down, Cyclone locks on to a Stalker again. Stalker's trying to come back up this ramp. Again, some damage being dealt here and there as once more the Cyclones find themselves locked on just for a moment. And then, again, the units go back towards the upper left-hand side. Mag Field Accelerator does complete now. Mag Field Accelerator completed. We are going to be seeing the Cyclones a little bit more effective at dealing with all of this. Obviously no Prism or anything just yet. That's on the way. Once the Prism is out, you have a bit of a more sturdy kind of defense against these Cyclones with the cancelling of the lock-ons. This is pretty much every Stalker going down here. I mean, in fact, every Stalker will go down. 4 workers killed. I mean, Clem is down by 5 workers or thereabouts. But he's also killed off a lot of these units. So he will have the army supply advantage, and now he's going to be able to come in and shut down one of the gateways for Goblin. And that's actually kind of a big deal, especially as Warp Gate's coming up, because it basically halves the production of Goblin. Okay, he actually has 2 gates at home, so it thirds the production of Goblin, but still, it's still pretty decent there. Well, Warp Prism is across. The Cyclone's going across the map too. I mean, he could get this pylon on the low ground now. And the Mortal being chrono boosted, but isn't ready just yet. He should just go straight for the pylon, lock onto it. Get rid of the pylon. He's going to go up into the main, but as soon as he sees the Immortals, he'll probably back off. And he's actually a little bit too far up there. And the Sentries hit the force field, so Clem will lose his Cyclones. Clem getting a little bit overzealous there. And this game is getting weird very quick. Sentry's picking off the Reaper, and again the Cyclone just picking its way through the Warp Gate that's at the front. Let's see if Clem comes down to the low ground. Cyclone or Clem backs away out towards the center. Pylons on the way up here from Goblin. One of them going to get finished up to repower this gateway. Actually just used the Warp Prism to power it for a moment. Again, another warping in just a little bit faster. Clem starts up his expansion as Goblin cleans out this engineering bay. We might see him able to get an expansion up as well. This game might transition into a little bit something just a little bit more standard, a little bit more regular here, after we have been seeing some crazy stuff so far. For Sentries and the Immortal, I mean, such an aggressive setup, isn't it? For Force Fields and the Immortal with the damage output. A few Stalkers on the way up. Goblin going to be pushing in towards the front of the natural here. Helene coming down the left side, and Cyclone, Tank, Marines all going to start fighting in this. Sentry's taking a little bit of damage. Cyclone will lock on at the back, and that Prism's going to go down. So that's actually Prism number 2. Where's the 2 Warp Prisms? Am I seeing double? It says if he comes down, we'll actually get that CC finish. That's a huge timing from Clem. Very important to get the CC finished up, otherwise that could have been cancelled. And that would be disastrous as Goblin is expanding back at home. And Goblin's going to keep pressuring up this ramp, and Banshee is here to help out with some of the damage output. The tank will be one of the big things, though, as Clem has to pull SCVs, and again the Cyclone from the back comes in, but the Stalker got lifted, so not much done. Man, this game is just ridiculous. These guys are going back and forth, back and forth. Another Banshee about to pop out here from Clem. He has Cloak. There is no Observer in this, so you could actually just come forward with Cloak Banshees and get a lot done. Cyclone of Clem comes back down to the bottom right-hand side. And you do see an Orbital coming up on the natural too. The Mortal and a couple of Stalkers are going to move around towards the main base. Going to get ready to unload in a few moments, and I'm going to get try to go for a few SCV kills. SCV's going to be in a little bit of trouble. 1, 2, 3. Immediately those units have to pick back up into the Prism. There's a couple of probes going down across the map. This Cyclone has been an MVP. I don't know how it's still alive. It is one hit from death, and it's being chased by a probe. Don't let the probe get you. Of all things, don't let the probe get you. Okay, gets away from the probe for the moment. So Periporo, thank you so much for subscribing to the stream. Appreciate it. Can we get some love in the chat for another fresh new subscription? Don't forget, guys, these replays are available to subscribers on our Discord server. So if you want to get your hands on these replays, get subscribed, go on Discord. We'd love to have you. Adept's going to shade on forwards the siege tank here to help defend multiple tanks. Well, those tanks are going to be pretty deadly to those Adepts up on the high ground. The Banshee's coming in too. Cyclone comes through. The Vikings will chase the Prism away so that Immortal is going to die. And he's going to try and actually recall it out, so maybe it doesn't die if the barrier is still active. Immortal gets recalled away. Clem is just about able to stay in the lead here for a few more moments. SCVs will pull in and will repair up this Cyclone as well. Cyclone is going to get finished here, and the SCVs jump back onto that natural scan from Clem. Just sees what's up. As these guys are really just throwing armies at each other, and I don't even know what to really tell you about it. It's been a little bit crazy all the way through so far. Dub's coming across behind this mineral line. A few SCVs going down. 4 or 5 workers already picked off here. Banshee's going to get rid of a pylon. Cybernetics core is going to be unpowered. Deb's going to start shading forwards, and well, it's going to be the attempt at a defense from Goblin. He is going to get right on top of the Seer Shag over here. It's the Banshees, isn't it? There's just no real answer to those Banshees. Like, there's been no NDF for I feel like forever, honestly. If a tank shows up, scan comes down, gets rid of one of the observers. I mean, what does the observer matter if there's no stalkers? Some stalkers getting walked in now, but for tank sieges, honestly, I mean, look at those Vikings. They actually just land, and they're going to 2-shot probes, of course. The Banshee's now in some trouble, will start to be chased away, but the Vikings still around. The tank sieged up. 12 workers killed, and Goblin seems to be falling a little bit further off here as Clem looks to grasp the 2-1 victory in this best of 3. Unfortunately, I don't think the 2-1 victory puts him into first place in the group. I think he still finishes in second, because I think I got myself confused trying to discuss the scorelines and all the rest of it. I think Goblin will still finish in first place here. What a performance. These groups in this event have been absolutely insane, unexpected. As Goblin cleans up, he knows that he's just got no natural, he's got no workers. He knows it's GG, but man,